Aurat aspires to be the single largest integrated art platform in the country.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 8. My name is Sanjay Chakrabarti. I'm the founder of Tag 8. Today's guest is someone who's been working sincerely since the last 15 years to change the entire art paradigm as far as India is concerned. I'm delighted to have my ex-colleague and friend Rishiraj Sethi, who is the director at Aurat. Rishi, thank you for joining us in this series.
Thank you for having me, Sanjay. Thank you.
Rishi, you know the format of the show, so let me get with the first question. In one breath, who is Rishiraj?
A Karm Yogi and a dreamer, someone who's trying to integrate the world and connect as many hearts through the medium of art. कला तो सिर्फ बहाना है, लोगों के दिलों तक जाना है.
Awesome. Rishi, second question, which is, tell us something about Aurat. Again, one breath.
Aurat aspires to be and has already achieved a lot of the journey of being the single largest integrated art platform in the country. Managing the entire ecosystem, starting with the artists, as you know, which is the fountainhead of the art market, and somebody that we view as a partner for the longest period. My brother and dad started collecting and researching and promoting artists at their level for the last 25, 30 years. And then as Aurat for the last 15 years, we work closely with them. We're not only dealing in their art, we actually are their partners trying to build the artist's brand and his life. In the process, there is growth and encouraging other stakeholders who are there for the buyers, the second part of the spectrum, to participate in the growth of the artist. And then the spectrum of buyers, whether it's working with a home buyer, a consumption buyer directly or through an architect or interior designer, working with an early stage collector directly or through a wealth manager, family office, or to acquire art, to balance their collection, to rebalance it, to manage it. And then the last and the most interesting avatar of our art as an integrated service provider, what we call art infrastructure solution, in then managing, helping a collector who's evolved, who's maybe a third generation buyer, has a lot of legacy art, and also adding to it to manage the art.
So currently, how does that run? Are there different companies that are doing that and you're bringing it together, or is the service part completely been ignored so far and just doesn't exist?
There are some pure play experts who are working in silos and largely unbranded or not in a corporate structure, who are providing certain solutions. But there is no one integrated player who's packaging all that. And it obviously needs a combination of self-domain expertise and then also working with third-party providers. And the way we've taken that call is, what is closest to the art is what we will do, and what is closest to the other aspects of infrastructure, work with the best partners. So obviously curation of art, promoting art is what we do, doing shows is what we do, helping people acquire or sell art, helping document a collection, which is a very simple activity but ignored, of actually going to collectors' homes, offices, factories, hotels, hospitals to document the collection, and you'll be surprised the level of apathy that's existed on the art, largely again linked to taxation or the lack of it. There was no wealth tax on art. Capital gains came in 2008, which means for the longest period, art acquisitions was not considered to be an asset, just considered to be something to decorate the wall and probably bought for very low sums and not documented in the books in the balance sheet, or bought in unaccounted cash, which could again have come from the balance sheet but not sitting in any defined pool, which has now grown into significant values. So then the valuation we do on our own. Restoration, we build the capability to define the protocol for restoration, and experts work under our banner. And then things like logistics, we work with partners. For warehousing, we'll work with partners. For insurance, we'll work with partners. So we control the entire value chain. There are other companies or pockets of individuals, mostly not companies, who are providing some part of that service.
Got it. So Rishi, getting to, you mentioned valuation, and that really makes me very curious. How do you really value art, and can you in the first place really value art? I mean, on one hand we talk about saying that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. How do you go beyond that and make it a scientific process?
Absolutely. That is one of the biggest sort of myths which we try to bust through a long process. We developed the methodology for valuing art, and what better partner than Ernst & Young, which we actually did one of the first reports in the world on art valuation, co-authored with EY in December 2017. Before that, what had we done to develop an understanding? From the day we set up our company in 2008, we were documenting and researching on every single trade of Indian art anywhere in the world. So we had that 8-9 year research to back the methodology that we built. And what has been the long-term trend? So starting from that 2017 initiative of the report on art valuation to the multiple valuations we've done with various partners, we were very proud to have launched the world's first hedonic art index in collaboration with IIM Ahmedabad on November 24, 2022 at the Bombay Stock Exchange. So clearly that sort of summed up the whole journey of understanding values, understanding how the asset has performed in the last 21 years, and building a very deep hedonic model, which is a factor-based pricing model, to actually show the growth in the art market over a long period.
That sounds really good. On the art index, and I really love the concept, though I'm still challenged very honestly on how do you value art. So can you just run through, say, what are the parameters that you really look at in terms of valuing art? Because at the end of the day, if you go to pure economics, it's all about demand and supply. So that is one bit. How do you go beyond that and start valuing any art proposition?
Absolutely. So let's quickly look at the continuum of growth. As you said, economics, demand supply continuum. When an artist starts creating works, he's pretty much pricing himself based on his immediate qualification and some bit of technique that he's developed. Mm-hmm. In the first 10-20 formative years, the value is largely driven by his improvement in his technique and trying to develop some bit of a signature type, which some artists may start by the year 5-year career, some artists may take 30 years to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's a great journey and long journey when typically the art is patronized for the look and feel, but the artist hasn't developed the identity, and even the type of buyers in buying him have not become artist centric in their approach. I think what defines the whole shift in the way real art market exists and a lot of the consumption buying exists is artist centricity. So when the artist hasn't found what he stands for, and there's a set of buyers now who's a early collector to evolved collector, who's also now respecting him for what he's making, is when the real game starts. Mm-hmm. Post that, the escalation of growth in the artist's brand, level of appreciation, and also the price, which is all a function of the same objective, is largely to do with promotion. How well does he work with the right promotion, which like any other brand building exercise in the world, you're now building the brand of the artist. The first hard work was done by the artist to build a quality portfolio of art, to build something that will stand the test of time, and to continuously even evolve from there. He's done that hard work. Then the partners have to come in, the promotion partners, including Aurat or other galleries and other players, who will now build the brand of the artist so that he gets wider recognition. And as more and more people see him, like him, enjoy him, put up his works on their walls and appreciate him, the growth journey starts or escalates, gets catalyzed. And then you have concept shows, then you have auctions, and you have other defining moments that create further spikes. So it's a very logical journey. And what is not understood also, the flip side of this is that it's a lot of things have to fall in place for an artist to grow.
Got it. I think that summarizes. So if I kind of push it through, it's like you get into organic mode initially, and then as your art attracts attention of other people and you have buyers coming in, at that point of time is when the brand starts escalating, and that's when you can start valuing it, because you already have a price discovery that's happened at that point of time, and then you, depending on what's happening in the market, you're able to better judge what should be the value of something based on all the other characters. So I'm just putting it in a very nice way, but I kind of get that picture. So Rishi, this is a program for entrepreneurs. So let me get to the next really space. 15 years coming out of a consulting background, what has been that one key learning of yours?
One key learning, I think I reflect back to the foundation that was laid in my and your first job in Aurat and EY, is that anybody can build a business in the near term, but to build an institution is a different mindset. And in the fast evolving pace, where a lot of other factors like technology, team, capital can over time get commoditized. We've seen the largest of ventures go up and collapse in so many sectors. What will eventually hold you in good stead is your competitive edge of thought leadership and the deep insights that you carry. So I think quite early in our journey, we decided the course that we want to take is this direction. That course is very thankless when you begin that. And, it really doesn't look the most logical thing to do because the amount of investment, the decade that goes in burning the midnight oil, because that work will have to go in parallel to your work that keeps the company alive, right? So it's always your extra time, it's always your midnights, it's always your weekends that gets absorbed in the thought leadership. But then when it sees the light of day, I mean, the feeling I had standing at that podium in the Bombay Stock Exchange International Convention Hall to launch an art index justified all of those burning the midnight oil.
Rishi, just in between these two questions, I had this in mind that AI is taking on a big way, whether it's Chat GPT and the things that they can do. And I'm sure even now you would have the ability to come up with some sort of art form through a simple AI 3D printing and that kind of stuff. Do you see that happening? I know NFT has kind of died down, but per se on the art side, is that the exposure, like especially when you start having a very methodical way of saying how do you value art, and then you put those things together, you could in a way then thereafter have the machines take over and create art instead of the artist. Is that ever a possibility?
I think in the discussion that happened when AI came and even NFTs came, was that in the top skills that will survive the next century, I think creativity by human heart and mind was the only skill that will survive for sure, if not else.
Because I'm just going back to your way that once you start, you have the ability to value it, and somebody knows exactly what's going to be valued overall. You take all basic ingredients in creativity from the artist, and you can build on that.
I get a point. It's like saying that a person who's a great researcher, working in an investment bank and selling great businesses, can he make the best business on his own because he knows all the elements of success? I don't think so. The secret sauce because it's a lot of heart that goes in the ability to perceive and create a masterpiece. We take the example of literature, which is easier understood than art, that it is the same words that we all use. But someone like Sant Kabir, someone like Baba Nanak strings a set of alphabets and words in a particular manner that 500 years later, we still relate to that. So what is that magic sauce? So much AI and Chat GPT and Google has come, but have I and you become better poets in the process? Unlikely. In that same context, a masterpiece, even today we are struggling to unravel the genius of Da Vinci. Genius from scientist to artist. Even today, after 300 years, he's developed the artistic imagination is so vivid. He's sketched a plane to a helicopter to a tank to so many things. He's understood the human body so well in anatomy. So I don't think technology has made us so much smarter 300 years later. None of us are able to still make the Mona Lisa for sure. So there will be interesting new aspects of art that may come, which may help democratize the art market, like digital art and other forms of art. There will be some impetus to creativity, but the fountainhead of the knowledge or the wisdom that an artist throws up in his creativity is only second to what God does. I don't think it's possible for technology to take God's role, fortunately.
Super. Rishi, last question, one breath. Aurat in 8 months and Aurat in 8 years?
8 months is very interesting, as just having launched the index and many other of our art infrastructure solutions getting wider exposure in the market. I think we are cranking the midnight oil to catch up with all the valuation documentation projects that we're doing now, and also building an integrated platform for art dealers to come together, to work together. that is the focus the next 8 months. 8 years after that high, as I mentioned, of standing on the Bombay Stock Exchange podium, I swore to myself that day that within 8 years, I want to be back in that same ring to hear the listing bell of Aurat. So that's the vision for 8 years.
Outstanding, Rishi. Rishi, I've known you for years now, and I can clearly see you are at the tipping point. I really wish you the very best, and it's always super exciting to see the energy that you bring to the table. And I'm sure everyone here will hear much more of you in the years to come. Thank you.
Thanks, Sanjay. Obviously, I've also enjoyed having your close friendship and mentorship over this last couple of decades. Also, wishing Tygate great luck. It's one of the important partners in our whole art infra solutions to manage collections. Looking forward to knowing you more better, working with you, and catching up offline again. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much.